That, let's head to the Netherlands, where voters are this Wednesday casting their ballots in what's been billed as a knife-edge election. Polls then suggesting that the anti-Islam lawmaker Geert Wilders and his far-right Freedom Party could secure the largest number of seats in the 150-member House of Representatives. Analysts, though, warning that if he does win, hopes of forming a new government appear slim. Valde calling the snap election after bringing down the last four-party coalition in a dispute over an immigration crackdown. Let's get you some analysis on this. We can bring in France 24's Armen Georgian. Armen, good to have you with us to talk more about, the stakes of this election, high stakes. We've heard about the bug issues, migration, housing, green policies. What are the major topics that we're seeing across the EU? Does that correspond with what's going on in the Netherlands today?
Yeah, very much so. They're kind of mirror images of each other, the debates happening in the Netherlands and in the EU more generally. Migration is a very hot topic. It's interesting because we've seen this kind of hardening of migration stances in other European countries. In the Netherlands, even though the outgoing government collapsed, obviously, back in June, it's noticeable that the caretaker government is pressing ahead with a plan to do a deal with Uganda and create a transit hub in Uganda so that asylum seekers whose applications have been rejected will be sent to Uganda. This is kind of reminiscent of a deal that Donald Trump actually made with Uganda. And of course, it's been very controversial in the Netherlands. It's not just a policy difference. It goes to the heart of these kind of cultural battles over, what the Dutch think they are as a country, what they represent, or what they think the Netherlands should be. So that's been a big political and kind of social, mental divide, if you will. Another thing you mentioned, the green transition, that's a very big one as well, Rochelle, because there's this nitrogen pollution crisis in the Netherlands, which is one of the worst of its kind in the European Union. And so one thing that's definitely played into this campaign is what parties have said is the choice the Netherlands have to either really try to deal with this environmental crisis or kind of leave it basically unsolved or move more in a kind of pro-farmers direction. So that, again, has mirrored a lot of the debates we've seen in other European countries about whether economic competitiveness is somehow incompatible with the Green Deal or whether both things are actually part and parcel of the same thing.
I mean, on a broader discussion of the election, ultimately, people who are criticising the outgoing Dutch government, they're hoping for something of a new chapter, a new start with the EU. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, actually, I was talking to two Dutch MEPs a few days ago in the European Parliament, one whose party, the Farmer Citizen Movement, was actually in the outgoing coalition with Geert Wilders, who was, of course, defending the government's record, and then the other MEP, Reine van Lanschot, who is with Volt, which sits with the Greens in the European Party. I just thought we could listen to both of them because it really sort of encapsulates these two kind of dividing worldviews that I was alluding to earlier. So let's listen to both of them. Sander Smit from the Farmers' Party and then Reine van Lanschot from Volt.
Too short of a period to deliver on all promises in the coalition agreement. And my party, of course, would have liked to work on these solutions for 4 full years, also on a European level, also on constructively working on the Asylum and Migration Pact.
It was the first time that the far-right party joined the government in about a decade, and it proved that that brings chaos, not only because the ideas are sometimes bad or unachievable or against democracy or against the rule of law, but also because the people trying to implement those ideas were incapable of executing them. So I'm super happy that we have snap elections because this is a new opportunity to bring a progressive pro-European force into government in the Netherlands.
So obviously you can tell from that, Rochelle, the Greens and the left are hoping for a new start. We'll see what the election exit polls say, but they want more Dutch leadership in the EU because they think that this infighting while the coalition was in power for just 11 months damaged the Netherlands' sort of prestige or ability to really be a leader in the EU. Our other guest, of course, Sander Smit, was disputing that in that program that I was doing. But I think the problem with these hopes for a new start on the left is that the Netherlands are becoming a lot more fragmented, much more difficult to govern. And so if it's going down a kind of French route of ungovernability, it might be then difficult to create that kind of new leadership in the Netherlands, in the European Union, I should say.